Hello, I'm Liam Thorpe, political editor from the Liverpool Echo, and the person filming me right now is Tom Horton, our Wirral local democracy reporter. The reason we are in my car tonight is because we're doing some investigative reporting. Many of you, many hundreds of thousands of you actually, read Tom's story last week where he was reporting on issues raised by local people about certain acts taking place in public spaces in Wirral. The acts are called dogging, and for those of you who don't know, it has absolutely nothing to do with dogs or dog walkers. It is the act of people meeting up, driving to certain locations and having sex in public, and other people watching and doing sexual acts. So why are two political reporters reporting on this? Well, the acts are actually taking place on council land, and we've been in contact with Wirral Council and Merseyside Police about this. It is causing a problem for local people. One guy was hilariously put off his fish and chips by it, but obviously there was a bit more serious connotations to it if children and families are there as well. So because neither of us have much going on in our social lives, we thought we'd come down tonight to one of the sites, which is the lewd gun site car park, and see if we can see anything that's going on and see if those claims can be stood up. So we'll go down there and have a little look now. Hello. We have just driven up the coastal path. And there are two cars which have just driven past us. I mean, it's a strange time of night to be driving along here, and to be honest, one of them now seems to be coming towards us. So we'll find out what he wants and let you know.
Turn that off.
Yeah, that's him flashing his lights. So just to keep you updated, things got quite tense here. Two cars drove down to this very deserted site where we have been told that dogging takes place. One of the cars did flash his lights at us and then drove off. The other one is down there, and to be honest, we have no idea what they're doing. They've pulled up. If it's not dogging, then it's something else dodgy going on. And we're both a little bit on the scared side. So we're just going to hang out here and see if anything comes of it. Okay, things getting weird here. One of the cars you can probably see is now pulled in next, and now another car behind has joined it. There's definitely something going on here. We can't be sure what it is. There appears to be some sort of meet-up going on. That car has just arrived, has pulled up next to the other one. Lights have gone off. To be honest, it's a little bit spooky. We are in the absolute middle of nowhere. Tom, any thoughts?
I'm scared.
Okay, so it's pretty hard to explain what's just gone on, and to be honest, we're both a bit on edge about the whole situation. We've driven down, just to sort of recap, we've driven down to this really desolate area, which is basically by the coast, the lewd gun site car park. Of course, this is where we were told that it was a dogging spot. Just to recap, when we first got there, we've driven quite a long way along a pitch black country path to this abandoned bit of land. There was a car parked there and another car joined it. As soon as we turned up and our lights were on, one of the cars fled, drove straight past us, zoomed past us and off. At this point we decided to follow it for a bit, drove back out, that one went off in a different direction. Then we thought we'd go back to the spot. We went back, and the original car was, as you will have seen, was still there. We couldn't quite see what it was doing, but another car came behind us and joined it. There was something going on, some sort of activity. As we say, at this stage, we can't be sure if it is dogging. We didn't see anyone get out of the car. It could, of course, be other activity. It could be sort of quite criminal activity. Eventually, our lights being on, I think, maybe spooked them, and the cars seemed to turn around and drive off and drive past us quite quickly. It was all a little bit tense, to be honest, but anyway, Tom's going to tell you about something else which we noticed, which is really bizarre, which might have something to do with what happened. So I'll just flip the camera around. Tom, what are you? What was it that most sort of surprised you about our trip there?
Essentially, guys, we're all a bit spooked out now because when we drove in, it was very scary. But we were just driving along a coastal path, middle of nowhere,
Pitch black.
Pitch black. We saw these two cars. We ended up turning back around and going back. Just to, see if anything else was going on in the whole site. And essentially this rock, sort of this size, about the size of a square boulder, was just in the middle of the road, blocking our path.
This was the road that we'd just driven up, wasn't it?
Exactly.
And it was not there on the way. So somebody, after we had driven down that route, somebody had put that boulder in the middle of the road. I mean, how weird is that? Yeah, and that's not the end of it either, is it? Okay, so we are at the second site now. We're just going to go home, and another car came in. He has pulled in behind us, or she pulled in behind us, and I just sat there with the lights on. It certainly feels like this is something happening. It's really hard to tell, to be honest, and also quite scary.
We're now flashing our lights at them for some reason. Driving towards them. She's given us a look, and now I think we're gonna make a move.